This glossary of surfing includes some of the extensive vocabulary used to describe various aspects of the sport of surfing as described in literature on the subject. In some cases, terms have spread to a wider cultural use. These terms were originally coined by people who were directly involved in the sport of surfing. About the water, beach break, an area where waves that are good enough to surf break just off a beach or on a sandbar farther out. Blown out, when waves that would otherwise be good have been rendered too choppy by wind. Bomb, an exceptionally large set wave. Choppy, chop, waves that are subjected to cross winds have a rough surface and do not break cleanly. Close out, a wave is said to be closed out when it breaks at every position along the face at once, and therefore cannot be surfed. Face, the forward-facing surface of a breaking wave. Flat, no waves. Gas chamber, the effect when a big wave rolls over, enclosing a temporary horizontal tunnel of air with the surfer inside. Glassy, when the waves are extremely smooth and glossy, not disturbed by wind. Gnarly, large, difficult, and dangerous. Lined up, the area where most of the waves are starting to break and where most surfers are positioned in order to catch a wave. Off the hook, a positive phrase meaning the waves are of very good size and shape. Outside, the part of the water's surface that is farther from the shore than the area where most waves are breaking. Point break, area where an underwater rocky point creates waves that are suitable for surfing. Sections, the parts of a breaking wave that are rideable. Set waves, a group of waves of larger size within a swell. Shoulder, the unbroken part of the wave. Shorey, shore break, the wave that lasts all the way to the shore before crashing. Surf's up, a phrase used when there are waves worth surfing. Swell, a series of waves that have traveled from the source in a distant storm, and that will start to break once the swell reaches shallow enough water. White water, as a wave breaks, it continues on as a ridge of turbulence and foam called white water. Stoked, happy, excited. Techniques and maneuvers. Aerial, riding the board briefly into the air above the wave, landing back upon the wave, and continuing to ride. Bail, to step off of the board in order to avoid being knocked off. Bottom turn, the first turn at the bottom of the wave. Carve turns. Caught inside, when a surfer is paddling out and cannot get past the breaking surf to the safer part of the ocean in order to find a wave to ride. Cross step, crossing one leg over the other across the board. Cutback, a turn cutting back toward the breaking part of the wave. Drop in, dropping into the wave, most often as part of standing up. To drop in on someone, to take off on a wave that is already being ridden. Not a legitimate technique maneuver, it is a serious breach of surfing etiquette. Duck dive, pushing the board underwater, nose first, and diving under an oncoming wave instead of riding it. Fade on takeoff, aiming toward the breaking part of the wave before turning sharply and surfing in the direction the wave is breaking. Fins free snap, a sharp turn where the surfboard's fins slide off the top of the wave. Floater, riding up on the top of the breaking part of the wave and coming down with it. Goofy foot, surfing with the left foot on the back of board. Hang heels, facing backwards and putting the surfer's heels out over the edge of a longboard. Hang 5, hang 10, putting 5 or 10 toes respectively over the nose of a longboard. Off the top, a turn on the top of a wave, either sharp or carving. Pearl, accidentally driving the nose of the board underwater, generally ending the ride. Pop up, going from lying on the board to standing, all in one jump. Pump, and up, down carving movement that generates speed along a wave. Re-entry, hitting the lip vertically and re-entering the wave in quick succession. Regular, natural foot, surfing with the right foot on the back of the board. Rolling, turtle roll, flipping a longboard upside down, nose first, and pulling through, breaking a broken wave when paddling out to the line up. Smack the lip, hit the lip, after performing a bottom turn, moving upwards to hit the peak of the wave, or area above the face of the wave. Snaking, drop in on, cut off, or burn. When a surfer who doesn't have the right of way steals a wave from another surfer by taking off in front of someone who is closer to the peak. Snaking, back paddling, stealing a wave from another surfer by paddling around the person's back to get into the best position. Snap, a quick, sharp turn off the top of a wave. Sole arching the back to demonstrate casual confidence when riding a wave. Stall, slowing down by shifting weight to the tail of the board or putting a hand in the water. Often used to stay in the tube during a tube ride. Switch foot, having equal ability to surf regular foot or goofy foot, like being ambidextrous. Take off, the start of a ride. Tandem surfing, two people riding one board. Usually the smaller person is balanced above the other person. Tube riding, getting barreled, riding inside the hollow curl of a wave. Accidental, over the falls, when a surfer falls off the board and the wave sucks him or her up in a circular motion along with the lip of the wave, also referred to as the wash cycle, being pitched over and being sucked over. Wipe out, falling off or being knocked off the surfboard when riding a wave. Ragdolled, when underwater, the power of the wave can shake the surfer around as if she were a ragdoll. Tombstone, when surfer is held underwater and tries to climb up the leash, the board is straight up and down. About people. Grommet, a young surfer. Hang loose generally means chill, relax, or be laid back. This message can be sent by raising a hand with the thumb and pinky fingers up while the index, middle and ring fingers remain folded over the palm, then twisting the wrist back and forth as if waving goodbye. See Shaka sign. Oddad, a non-surfer who pretends to surf and frequents beaches with good surfing. Kook, a wannabe surfer of limited skill. About the board. Blank, the block from which a surfboard is created. Deck, the upper surface of the board. Ding, a dent, a hole in the surface of the board resulting from accidental damage. Fin, fins. Fin-shaped inserts on the underside of the back of the board that enable the board to be steered. Leash, a cord that is attached to the back of the board, the other end of which wraps around the surfer's ankle. Nose, the forward tip of the board. Quiver, a surfer's collection of boards for different kinds of waves. Rails, the side edges of the surfboard. Rocker, how concave the surface of the board is from nose to tail. Stringer, the line of wood that runs down the center of a board to hold its rigidity and add strength. Tail, the back end of the board. Wax, specially formulated surf wax that is applied to upper surface of the board to increase the traction so the surfer's feet do not slip off of the board. Clothing. Board shorts, rash guard, wetsuit, are often referred to as rubber. Sometimes surfers also wear a neoprene hood and booties in cold conditions.